welcome. My name is funnystuffkr Kevin, and today I want to try out something a little bit different. Because if you watch some of my past videos, or you just haven't, well, I've done a few vlogs to get me started on filmmaking because I was interested in it, you know, try out the green screen that I bought. And I was just getting started, and I kind of miss sharing a few of my thoughts, but I didn't want to make it, just a kind of a sketch, vloggy kind of thing. I wanted to mix in some games, so I'm just putting some game in the background, which is me playing a little bit of just Minecraft survival. I thought, it'd be maybe nice for you guys to see some just regular play, but I don't want to use it for a Let's Play because that I find a little bit quite boring. But to just do something like this where I can talk a little bit, and maybe if you care, you'd watch this. So what I want to talk about today is a few things have been happening, and sometimes I find some interesting things that happen to my life, and I thought I'd share that. So I'd like to start with a little bit of a serious note and then end with a really funny note, but we'll get to that. So first thing is, I don't know if I'm gonna make this a series or not, but I'll definitely start today. And the first thing I'd like to talk about is education. In education, what I really want to talk about is teachers, because when you've had experience with the job, that's when you can really criticize other people in your job area. But, taking a whole life as a student, what you think as a regular student would think is not really, what teachers are like, what their experiences are. You don't think about them as a job, you just think of them as, oh, teachers, I've got to learn this, I've got to learn that. But I really do think past that, and I think of, what best way to criticize teachers if you've been having them your whole life. For someone who either wants to go to filmmaking or being the teacher as their plan B, I've noticed a few things. So this first thing that I thought about is that every teacher and every people who has a job, every person has their strengths and weaknesses. And something that I'd like to talk about is consistency over change. By that I mean every teacher has some kind of a balance with what they keep consistent in their area so they can keep themselves organized, and what they want to change to make their teaching better. And I do believe that most of them have a good balance with, I'm going to keep this kind of test the same, but I'll change this activity that we did because this didn't work, or this worked really well. But there are certain exceptions, and I won't mention exactly by name, but I do have one teacher who I noticed pretty well her weaknesses is this consistency over change, because she cannot keep a grip of when she should change, because she uses humor by embarrassing other students as a really good tool to get them to pay attention in class, and it really works very well, and that's very much her strength. But that comes with the problem of her keeping it too consistent. So what she ends up liking to do is keeping all of her projects kind of the same, kind of like, oh, this is what you should learn, in this kind of same way, and all that she does is tweak it a little bit, and I don't even know what she does with that every year. But the problem is that if I'm talking about when, let's say about projects, how most teachers, at least as far as I know for now, give you like a project like, do this kind of PowerPoint and show this. But if a student shows enough initiative to represent you like, oh, I like this project, I'm still going to do what you're telling me to do, but can I do it in a different format, like something that I like to do better to show you what I'm good at, so you can overall get a better product and I can get a good grade and we both benefit from this, since it's a win-win situation. And every teacher that I've had said yes, because as you may tell, I'm using this example of me making the video. I've been doing projects for teachers as a video for about 2 years now, and all of them were saying, that was amazing, I'm gonna change my things for this project so that maybe people have a choice to make a video as well, because this worked out great. And she, even seeing one of my videos, didn't believe me still, or just didn't want to admit defeat out of stubbornness or pride. I don't know which one, but she didn't cave in. And that's the problem with having a teacher that does not keep this sense of change, that it's okay to let go. You can do good. You can keep some things consistent, but you gotta have a better balance. You've got to let students kind of do their own thing. So you kind of have to keep a balance within the freedom of their creativity, but also what you want them to learn out of the lesson or project. So that's kind of the problem that I've had with this teacher, and I wish I could talk to her about this, but I still haven't class with her, and that'd be kind of awkward to do. But anyways, I want to change the subject into some lighter note, which is some British humor. Now, before you get mad at me if I have some kind of bad English accent or anything like that, I don't mean this to offend anyone. It's just something funny that happened in class. It's one of my friends. I don't want to name his name yet, but he's a really funny guy. And during Latin class, which I want to mention is one of the hardest class that I've taken, but it's the most rewarding one because it's the funnest class that I've taken, and I'm still taking for now. And so many weird things happened over Latin class, so many inside jokes, but there's just something that I cannot pass up, and I had to talk about. It's this British humor thing. It's becoming kind of an inside joke, but I do want to share this to the world because I think it's hilarious. It's kind of like telling an insulting joke or just something that you can attach British humor at the end of the sentence. And what I mean by that is, in the middle of class, we're doing some kind of lesson, like checking homework, and my teacher, who I just call Migistra, which is teacher in Latin, I'm going to keep saying that probably, Migistra she's in the middle of a lesson, somebody blurts out something, she laughs with us or looks weird at us, and then makes a comment, and then it's funny, a funny comment back, and then continues on with the lesson. And it's not like, oh, you're in trouble, go to detention or something like that. It's nothing like that. It's because you do have this kind of freedom in my classroom. But with that being enabled, what ends up happening is the highlights of this British humor thing getting started is that another person who's not a friend of mine, but he did say something really funny, which is they were talking about dead baby jokes during checking homework, and then this is what happens. This is the exact joke that he told us. Why did a dead baby cross the road? Because it was stapled to the chicken. Ha 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 ha! British humor. And look, I didn't think I would like any dead baby jokes, any dark jokes. I'm really not the kind of guy for dark humor, but strangely, I did like Kick-Ass, and I did like these kinds of jokes, apparently, because I guess it's because of the British humor. But it doesn't. It applies to basically everything. I would kind of teasing friends, and I would answer, he's like blah blah blah. I'm like, oh, it's because you're stupid. Ha ha ha. British humor. And it's just something that I just thought was hilarious, and I just couldn't get rid of. And I think it's pretty interesting for you guys to know. Maybe you want to try that out with some of your friends, or even with family. I mean, just at the dinner table and breakfast, mom and dad make some breakfast or something like that, or you're just an adult and you're at home, you're talking to friends, and you'd be like, blah 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 blah, or they say something stupid, or because they just woke up, they'll mess up a word, and like, why did you mess it up? Oh, it's because you're probably illiterate and you have a bad memory. Why would you say that? British humor. I don't think it even has anything to do with British people, but I thought it was pretty funny. Again, I just wanted to share that. But I think that's me done for the day. I just want to talk about that. Maybe I'll make this a series. I do not know yet. Please tell me if you like it. Comment if you want to hear more, or just press like if you did like it and you want to see more. But that's it, and I'll see you next time.
Oh my god!